have damaged not only Africa but the Black psyche as a whole, and is damaged to the point where we don't even we denigrate our own spiritual heritage and traditions, and we even denigrate ourselves and our ancestors, because a lot of Black people tend to believe that because our ancestors weren't Christian or Muslim, that's why the continent of Africa is the way that it is. We've heard this from plenty of people, plenty of times before. So, and not only that, these are the religions of our colonizers. So, and Black Hebrew Israelite is basically just a cult anyway. So that's why we shouldn't be those things.
Okay, and those are the only religions you believe that blacks shouldn't get involved in?
I don't think we should get involved in any religion, to tell you the truth, but specifically those three are the ones that have damaged us the most.
Okay, so great. Um, I believe that blacks should get involved in whatever religion they want, uh, even the ones included on your board. You made up some great points about how it did psychological damage to black as a whole, but I can counter that argument and tell you that there has been over 200 slave rebellions in the United States of America. So if Christianity was so detrimental to black people as a whole, why weren't they submissive and accepted their place in the hierarchy system at that time? If they were indoctrinated with Christianity and they had no other option to uh, study study that.
Two
Can you
reasons.
please explain?
Two reasons. Number one, there were people who were docile. Harriet Tubman even said that she couldn't save all of her people during the Haitian Revolution. The revolutionaries had to take people out because they didn't want to be part of the revolution. They wanted to be docile. So during slave rebellions, even then, there are people who were very, very docile and didn't want to rise up. But the second thing that I would say is that a lot of these people viewed Christianity differently than what the colonizers viewed it. What Nat Turner, for example, viewed Christianity through a revolutionary lens, and Black liberation theology still exists to this day. I don't doubt Black liberation theology. It is something that can be useful. But the slave revolts happen in despite of Christian indoctrination, not because of it.
Oh, so you don't think that? I mean, we don't know for sure what they were thinking at that time, but we do know that they were forced, like every Sunday to get involved in church worship or some type of religious practice involving Christianity.
Right, of course.
You don't think they cherry picked Bible verses, so instead of turning the other cheek, they looked at an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth and said,
Correct.
"Well,
That's what
this
Nat
is
Turner was doing.
conducive to my self interest."
Right, correct. That's what Nat Turner was doing, which is what I said. It happened
So,
despite Christianity, not because of it. And it doesn't change the damage that was still caused to these people, right?
no, I mean that's another debate, but um, Christians have done a lot, especially when it comes to charity work. This is the reason why there are numerous of homeless shelters able to thrive throughout the United States. It's because of the good deeds from Christians that donate their resources when they don't have to.
Yeah, so
So, I mean, how is that detrimental to Black people? Because we do know that when it comes to the macro economy, whenever there's an economic slump, that group is always the one to suffer the most.
yeah,
And so that's a
when
domino effect, which,
yeah, when white
go ahead.
America has a cold, Black America has a pneumonia. We all know that phrase, right? But the thing is, though, that really has nothing to do with Christianity. You can do charity and not be a Christian, right? Like that's possible to do. And not only that, like charity is there's a lot of issues with charity in America in the first place. We saw what happened with the so-called NGOs and the so-called charities and what they did to Haiti during the earthquake. Like they didn't do a damn thing. You know what I mean? So you don't need Christianity to be a good person or to be a good human. You don't need any of that. It's not necessary. So I don't think the things that happen, like the charitable causes that we have in America are happening simply because on a Christian basis. We've seen plenty of times, like there was just literally a social experiment where a woman went to churches asking for help for formula for her sick baby, and most of the churches turned her down. The churches that didn't turn her down, unsurprisingly to me, were black churches.
So you don't think Christianity or Islam has anything to do with black liberation when at that time, whether it was slavery or Jim Crow, the first thing that they look up to for protection is a mystical, omnipotent figure up in the sky to garner the courage to fight oppression that they're currently dealing with. So how is that not conducive for black people, and why you're saying that subtracting religious beliefs will be more conducive for black people going on when that was the main factor for them to garner up the courage to fight what many would deem as an impossible battle, white supremacy at that current time?
Right. So Christianity being used as a coping mechanism doesn't change the damage that was happening, that Christianity caused at that time. Does it? Like that was literally just a coping mechanism, which is fine. People need to find ways on how to cope. I'm not going to denigrate people for having coping mechanisms. Whatever they need to do to survive, they need to do to survive. But
Hmm.
the second thing that I would say is that Christianity wasn't needed for that. They just had it. That's just the coping mechanism they had. It wasn't needed for that at all. And I would say that I've said this before. Christianity, in a lot of ways, teaches black people a very docile way on how to act. We're taught blood theology, like that everything will be okay through the blood of Jesus, which is a very docile way on how to act. Where uh, black liberation theology is a lot more forceful. I'll give it that. It's a lot more forceful in black liberation theology, but most black people don't follow black liberation theology. They follow another type of theology. You see what I mean? So I
But
don't think Christianity is
yeah,
important or necessary for any of that.
but I just combated that talking point with cherry picking Bible verses instead of following um, turn the other cheek. Black liberators followed an eye for an
For
eye
an eye,
and a
yeah.
tooth for a tooth.
People can yeah. I'm not.
So
I'm
how
not. I
can
don't have a thing.
Christian?
I don't have an issue with that, right? What I'm saying is that that's not necessary. Christianity is not necessary for that. In a lot of
Okay,
ways, it still
but
damages.
you do agree that most black people who stood up and fought for their rights
We're
were
Christian. I'm not denying
majority
that.
Christians, right?
I'm not denying
And
that.
so what if? Okay, so what if they were, let's just say, atheists, and they viewed life as it is what it is? So they're more realistic, correct? If they're atheists, because there's no concrete evidence that an omnipotent figure exists.
Correct.
So if they're more realistic about the situation, they're going to see that the people that are oppressing them, the white oligarchs in the situation, has the manpower, the resources, the geographical terrain advantages, and things of that nature. So if they view it as a realistic view, oh, it is what it is, wouldn't they be more susceptible to being subjugated and content about the current situation that they're dealing with
No,
instead of relying on an omnipotent figure who
I already said no.
gives them the courage? Huh?
I already said no. That wouldn't be the
Oh,
case
okay.
because you know
Okay.
why? W.E.B. Du Bois.
Why?
W.E.B. Du Bois existed, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So did Huey P. Newton. And what did Huey P. Newton start? Huey P. Newton started the most revolutionary and militant black force that America has ever seen, to the point where the CIA had to get involved in breaking them up. Huey P. Newton was an
And
atheist.
if oh, okay, and who did he
The
like? How
Black
did the
Panthers,
Black
friend.
Panther start? No,
Hmm?
like how did the Black Panther get started? Like who put the battery? Excuse my jargon, but who put the battery in their backs?
White supremacy. Huey P. Newton saw that his people were
Like
being
what?
abused by the
What?
police officers, so he got with
No,
himself and other people in the neighborhood to fight against it. And he was a Marxist, and so was Bobby Seale.
can, can you name the notorious, prominent civil rights leader that was the catalyst for the Black Panther movement in the 70s?
Huey P. Newton.
I'm okay. I'm talking about before him. He had to get in. Someone had to spark that idea in his head. Can you name me? I know there
The
are numerous
police.
leaders, but name the
The
most
police.
famous.
The most famous revolutionary leaders around that time were MLK and Malcolm X. But
Okay, great. Thank you.
hold on, listen. Huey P. Newton, yeah, he respected MLK and Malcolm X, but they weren't his influence to do what do what he did. He actually saw what MLK doing was soft, and he said that
Okay,
he
but
wanted to
he.
be more hard line with it. Like
Okay, so he.
the reason why Huey P. Newton did what he did was not because of MLK. He did what he did because because over in California, the police officers were brutalizing the black neighborhoods. So that's what he did. What he did. It wasn't because I'm taking inspiration from this Christian MLK in the South. It's not. That wasn't the reason.
So you're telling me he wasn't influenced by Malcolm X rhetoric?
No, he was influenced by what he
No.
saw in his neighborhood.
Okay. So you do know that in order for a seed to be planted in your head, you have to garner of some type of secondhand knowledge, and that is a predecessor before you. So he didn't just wake up one day and all of a sudden
All right, hold on.
garner enough
So,
courage. Sir,
Billy, you realize all these people were contemporaries, right? Malcolm X, MLK, and Huey P. Newton, they all lived at the same time. They were all around the same age. They were contemporaries. None of them were before the other.
okay. Okay, so there's no such thing as a one man army. You usually see one person leading a certain way in the revolution, and other people start to latch on. That's when you garner up the courage to, blaze your own path. So Huey Newton just didn't one day wake up and say, you know what, I'm just going to pull out the lone wolf strategy
Of
and
course, he didn't do that. No one is saying that
start
he
the.
did that. Well, what I'm saying is
Okay,
that in his area, in his material conditions, he saw what was needed, and what was needed was not what MLK was doing. He respected MLK. He's not. I'm not saying that he was against
I'm
MLK
not
or he was
saying
anything like that.
MLK. I'm
But
saying
I'm saying
Malcolm X though.
right, and he respected Malcolm X too. But Malcolm X wasn't over there on the West Coast, so they had to do something on the West Coast. Malcolm X knew about the Panthers, and Malcolm X wanted the Nation of Islam to support the Panthers, but the Nation of Islam didn't do that at the time. Well, so they weren't backing them up, so the Panthers had to do this all on their own. He wasn't a lone wolf. He got people from his neighborhood. He got Bobby Seale and a few other people from around his way, his brother as well, and they all created street patrols in order to protect against the police. Because in their situation, it was the police who were the direct threat to them. So that's what they started to do.
Okay, great. And I'm assuming majority of the Black Panther members believed in some type of religion, right? Either they were Muslim or Christian. Am I right or am I
You're
right?
no, you're wrong.
Oh, so they were mostly atheists,
Yeah, they were Marxists.
sir. Marxist has a lot to do with what type of government system you want to run. It has nothing to do with religion.
Yeah, I know that, but at that time, most communists at that time were actually atheists. So the Black Panther Party was started by atheists.
All right.
W.B. Du
So
Bois was an atheist.
I'm gonna.
Hell, even
Okay.
MLK did not take the resurrection of Jesus seriously. He didn't think that was a real thing. He just knew that most black people were religious around that time, so that's what he used. MLK was a secret
So
atheist.
yeah, no, nobody is a Christian fundamentalist. That's impossible. You can't take everything in the Bible literally. Like everyone who indulged in that type of religion cherry pick Bible verses to confirm the normalized narrative that it's a peace loving or forgiving um, religious practice.
Okay.
So we can get so that doesn't mean that MLK was an undercover atheist. What he did was like what everyone else do is when they go to church, they pick out the favorite Bible verses that can that gives them comfortability and not erupt thought provoking questions.
Right, but
So the Ten Commandments,
one of the
that's all
main
good and dandy.
one of the main points of being a Christian is accepting Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior and believing in the resurrection. MLK in his writings did not believe that. He didn't believe that Jesus actually rose from the dead or that he was probably even a real person and didn't take his miracle seriously. He thought that was all crap. But he knew
Mhm.
that most black people around that time were Christian, and this is what he needed to use in order for people to get behind him.
So you're buttressing my point that Christianity is a good thing because he implemented Christian type rhetoric to galvanize a, formidable amount of black people to
Yeah,
fight
so
for civil rights. So he
this is
used
actually
that
my point.
Christian element.
Yeah, this actually proves my point
So, so that's a good
yeah,
thing, right?
no, that's a bad thing. If you need religion to fight for your rights, that religion might be crap. The fact that he had to use religion to say it's the Christian thing to do to fight for your rights, and then people joined it. You don't see the problem there? Because if he never did that, they wouldn't have joined it.
We're talking about what's conducive to a certain demographics self-interest,
Mm-hmm.
and if implementing a Christian element to it for them to at least get a backbone and fight for the rights, doesn't that contradict your point that religion is detrimental for black people?
No, it doesn't.
If MLK was doing it and that led to people uprising, and Malcolm X also used his religious perspective, which was a different point of view, but it still was going towards the same objective. Isn't religion as a whole, especially the one that you've listed, was conducive more than detrimental to black people, especially in those days?
No, it's simply a tool that can be used for benefits. That doesn't mean that the religion itself is beneficial.
Okay.
All right.
So
We're at
I,
15
yeah,
minutes. I do
I just
appreciate you being up here. All right. Appreciate you. All right. That was like number 5 with Billy. I don't know. I'll talk to Billy so many times. All right. We're going to move on to our anonymous caller. All right. Anonymous. Can I get your name,
Hello.
age, and or do you have a religious indoctrination?
My name is Rollo. I am 21, and I do have a religious indoctrination, but I'm religious, but I'm not trying to talk about religion today. I want to talk about Pan-Africanism, if that's okay.
Why? That's not the topic today.
That's not the topic today. We can't just talk about it.
No.
Okay, well, I'm a Catholic, so if we want to talk about religion, we can do that.
All right, cool. My grandmother grew up Catholic because my parents are from Haiti, so I'm a little familiar with Catholicism. But yeah, I don't believe black people should be Christian, Muslim, or Black Hebrew Israelite. Since you're Catholic, let's talk about Christianity. I don't think black people should be Catholic either. The Catholic Church has done nothing for Haiti. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we can talk about the Catholic Church. What do you say to Africans who converted to Christianity before they were like colonized?
They shouldn't have done it. They only did so
They
for
shouldn't have done it.
yeah, they shouldn't have done it. They only did so for political reasons, in order to like trade deals with the Portuguese and the Spanish, and the
No,
French.
not the. You see, you're doing a generalization of Africans. What about the Ethiopians, the Kingdom of Axum? They converted a long time ago.
Yeah,
They're
they
older.
converted hundreds of years before. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
and that was not for trade deals with Portugal or anything like that. That was their conversion. That was their.
yeah, the king converted, and then he forced it on the rest of his people. But they had religions before that, so they didn't have to convert. There was no reason for it.
Well,
That's
they
why I said they didn't
converted
need to.
because they thought it was the true faith.
I know they thought it was true faith. I think they're wrong.
Okay. So I don't like generalizing people, and it kind of feels like you're generalizing like all Africans. What about the Africans who are not black, like Berbers in Algeria?
What about them?
What about the Berbers? What about the Berbers? Like your generalization is all Africans, like they're all black and everything. But
It's not what I
what do
said.
you say to the Berbers, who are a non-black group in Africa?
What about them? It's not what I said either.
What about their religious freedom?
They can be religious. I'm not saying that you can't have religious freedom. They can have religious freedom.
Okay, then what's your problem with people? If you're pro religious freedom, what's your problem with people being like Christian, Islam, Buddhist, whatever?
You realize that just because I believe in your right to do something doesn't mean I still believe in what you're doing is correct, right?
We're using
Like
that. Okay.
you ever heard that saying, I don't agree with what you said, but I'll defend your death the right to say it. Yeah, that.
I've never heard that saying.
You never heard that? Okay, cool. But when it comes to black people being specifically Christian and Muslim, the amount of damage that is done to the African continent, and of the fact that these are foreign religions that we did not need, and the fact that they also denigrate your spiritual heritage, or was used to denigrate your spiritual heritage, shows to me that we do not need it.
Well, the Catholic Church. It's not a religion of white people. It started as a reform movement of Judaism, Christianity, and
right.
it split off because of its different.
The Catholic Church started off in Rome, right?
White people.
The Catholic Church started off in Rome, right?
No, the Christian Church started in Palestine, the Levant.
I'm talking specifically the Catholic Church. Didn't the Catholic Church start in Rome?
No, the Catholic Church is the first church. All the other churches split off from us over time.
Right.
We did not start in Rome.
Okay, so where did the Catholic Church start?
And the Christian, to my knowledge, it started in the Levant.
Started in the Levant. All right, great. So who was the first pope?
So who was the first pope? Peter.
Peter. All right. Who was the pope after Peter?
After Peter, I don't know.
Okay, cool. That's not a problem. What I'm saying now is when we look at Catholicism now, the Holy See is in Rome, correct? Or in the Vatican?
That is where we have moved the church to, because Rome. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So the Holy See is in the Vatican. The finances of the church are. Hold on. Let me finish. When it comes to the spiritual center of Catholicism, when it comes to the finances of Catholicism, when it comes to the to all the philosophers and the theology, all of that for the past 2,000 years has come out of Rome. So even though it started in Levant, which I agree with you, this religion started in Levant, it's maintained and controlled on a financial and spiritual level for the past 2,000 years by white men. So it's a white religion.
Yeah, but it's the faith of Israelites, though, Middle Eastern people, Semitic people.
That's irrelevant to what I just said, bro.
No,
I know. No,
I've
already no. Listen. I've already granted you that it started in the Middle East. It started in the Levant. It started with Middle Eastern people. I do not doubt that. I understand that, but the way, but the control from the theology to the spirituality to the finances to the governance, all of it for the past 2,000 to 3,000 years has been in the hands of white men, which now makes it a white religion. We can't just get around that.
That's not how it started. You want to know what a white religion?
I already know that it started with the Levant. I said that already.
So that's not a white religion, though.
I know that it started in the Levant, but who controls and maintains it now?
Who controls it? Contains it now?
It ain't Palestinians. I'll tell you that much.
a Native American guy controls it. You know, the Pope has Native American heritage. Pope Leo, he's a
Yeah, I ain't doing that, bro. We ain't doing this. We ain't doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and call back 856. Let's see if 856 had a better argumentation than this. Because I ain't doing that, bro. I'm not doing that. All right, y'all. So if you're watching me from YouTube, shout out to you there. If you're watching me from the Deconstruction Junction, I appreciate you calling me from Deconstruction Junction. If you are watching me from the Black Atheist Coalition, I appreciate you watching me there. And if you're watching me from Volcy Thoughts, I also appreciate you watching me there. Hi, if you record your name
and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and wait for another person to call in. We're just waiting for another person to call in. If you're over on the Volcy Thoughts channel and you disagree with what I have on the board, that is all good and well. Go ahead and just call in. The number is right up here. Y'all see it, right? 786-751-7853. Go ahead and call in because I'm going to get off like around 5 o'clock today. All right, so you say black people should follow religion of a black god. All right, since people want to go ahead and be disingenuous, yes, Granthie, I'm saying that we should follow a black god. Jesus Christ. All right, yeah, and if you're watching from the Black Atheist Coalition, like I said, I appreciate you calling in from the Black Atheist Coalition. What's going on, Godwin? Deconstruction Junction, shout out to y'all there. Nah, Jeremy, is if I don't disagree with I can disagree with you all day, but I'm not gonna be disingenuous. He's like I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do some disingenuous shit. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, Christianity didn't start off in Ethiopia. Yeah, I gotta chill with that.
Hello, how are you?
All right, can I get your name, age, and did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Yeah, my name is Zachary, and I'm 18, and I did disagree with who I have on the board.
All right, cool. Any religious indoctrination?
No, not yet. I'm trying to go through all religions to pick one.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe black people should be. I have those things on the board. You think we should be either one of them?
I don't think people should be. I mean, I think personally that everyone needs to be an individual and pick their own faith. I don't think people should, like, you know, not all Asians should be Buddhist, not all whites should be Germanic pagan or whatever.
Great, but I'm talking about black folks.
Talking about black folks?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Africa is such a diverse place with, I mean, so many cultures and religions. Including those is Christianity, to my knowledge.
Yes, but Christianity came to Africa two ways. One through the east, of course, through Ethiopia, but the reason why the majority of Africa is Christian today is because of colonization.
I mean, so all humans come from Africa. Is colonization a bad thing, in your opinion?
Yeah.
So all humans came from Africa. So, I mean, what's wrong with some humans going back to Africa? I get the exploiting resources, killing people. That's very bad. But I don't think white people being in Africa is bad because all people came from Africa, you know?
I didn't say white people being in Africa is bad. That's not what I said.
Oh, okay. And I mean, I heard on the last call that you said, like, the king of Ethiopia converted.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing some research on that as of late, and it was a queen.
Oh yeah, queen. Whichever one of them converted and enforced it on the rest of the Ethiopians, but I don't think they should have or needed to because they already had their own religion. So another foreign one wasn't needed.
Well, I'm reading this ancient excerpt from some writing from, it looks like the 1st century AD.
Okay, that's cool. I don't care about that. What I'm saying is that they didn't need to do that. Hold on. What I'm saying is that they didn't need to do that because they already had their own systems of morals and spirituality. So Christianity was unneeded, was unnecessary.
But they still converted.
Correct, so they did. But that has nothing to do with my point. We know they converted. My point is that they didn't need to.
They didn't need to.
They
Yeah, they
didn't
didn't
need
need
to,
to, but they still
and
did it. They
yeah,
went
and it
out
was
of their way to
unnecessary. Yeah,
do
and it
it.
was
So
a
that
bad
tells
thing.
you something.
Yeah, and it was a bad thing. They
So
they abandoned their traditional practices for foreign religion.
traditional practices.
Hmm.
Okay. So wouldn't you say white people also abandon their traditional practices for
Yes,
Christianity? Like,
yes.
wow. So you're just you seem like a fan of like paganism.
Yeah, I have no problem with paganism. Yeah, the Germans should go back to worshiping Thor or whatever, even though Thor doesn't exist. Yeah, yeah, sure. Why not? Why abandon your spiritual heritage?
And I remember you talking about how the church, how like Islam, as an example, has done bad things for Africa. So in the Empire of Mali, Massa Musa, who is the richest man of all time, he was a Muslim, and the mosque in Mali produced a lot of beautiful uh, cultural works, and it was a very beautiful thing. So that seems like a good thing.
Yeah. So when it comes to Islam and medieval Western Africa, right? Again, that was only for trade. Like they didn't really care about it. Even like Arab explorers, when they went over to Mali to see exactly how the West Africans were practicing Islam, they saw that they weren't practicing it the way that the Arabs practicing it at all. Like the women's had their ta-ta-tas hanging out and everything like that. They were able to have male friends without their husbands being around. They were allowed to have more than one husband and everything like that. They still sacrificed animals and did animism and all that good stuff. They still had idols all around, but they called themselves Muslim. That's because like
Yeah.
Africans
So then why
naturally
did they build
hold
mosques?
on. Africans naturally synchronize things, right? They add other traditions into their own traditions. They all naturally do that. Even Ethiopian Orthodox, if you see it today, you see that they add other things into it from their ancient practices before Christianity. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, all that is the case. So they weren't practicing Islam the way that the Arabs practice Islam, is because they have their own thing going on. But when Islam became more and more embedded, they abandoned their entire spiritual heritage and called it inferior. So that's the problem. All the other good stuff about
But that's
all the books that they wrote and everything like that, all that is good and well. But like the medieval West Africans, they already had their own writing systems, their own astronomy. They just used the Arabic alphabet to write it out. You know what I'm saying? That's all they did. But they already had their own stuff. They didn't need
that's
Islam.
cool. So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where in Africa does your heritage come from?
It comes from West Africa. Because I'm Haitian, I have a lot of admixture from different tribes, or I should say tribes, different ethnic groups. Like I have Akan, I have Igbo. Igbo's definitely, because I have this little knot on my head right here, so I'm definitely Igbo. So there's Akan, there's
Oh, that's
Igbo,
cool.
there's Yoruba, there's Fon. Fon is my main one. I think Fon is like probably like almost 30 to 40% of what I am.
So I just have a quick question about slavery.
Sure.
I was just wondering. So you think like slavery was only like a white people thing, and they like stole Africans from Africa?
No. Like
No.
everywhere had slavery. The transatlantic slave trade was definitely racial though.
I mean, yeah, it was definitely racial, but you know who sold the white people their Africans? Other Africans.
Yeah, you realize this makes this flattens Africa, right? Because the Romans
What do you mean
had
by flatten Africa?
the Romans had slavery, correct?
To my knowledge, absolutely yes. They had
Yeah,
slavery.
was that Europeans selling Europeans?
Yeah, they purchased slaves from Germanic people who were Europeans at the moment. Yeah.
Right, but you see how you said Germanic people, how you're able to split that up? How do you do that for Africa? Do you know?
Okay, well, we can just say it was Akam people selling other Akam people.
It wasn't.
Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation.
But
it wasn't. So
that's the thing. It wasn't.
So, quick question then: who sold the Africans to the white
rival
people?
tribes?
Who sold them?
Rival tribes were
rival tribes.
Yeah, rival kingdoms, rival tribes were selling their rivals to to the Europeans. And not only that, the way that slavery worked in Africa is not the way that Europeans worked it. They worked in different ways. It's not, that doesn't mean that's an excuse, because I don't think indentured servitude is moral either. I don't think that's a moral system either. But in Africa, that's how it really was. It was more indentured servitude, or you were a POW, and after a few years, they just let you go. That's how it was. Or you could buy yourself out, or your people can buy you out and stuff like that. That's how it really worked. Now, that doesn't mean that it was a moral system. Like, again, I don't believe indentured servitude is moral either. But like, it was way different from chattel slavery. And there were places in Africa that did have chattel slavery. Let's not mince words there. There was chattel slavery in Africa, but the way that the Europeans introduced it into the continent was far different, or far more harsher, far more brutal.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, I think slavery is just absolutely horrible, and that's one of the reasons I'm a Republican, because I'm opposed to slavery.
So you think we should reform our prison system?
Reform our prison system? I think, honestly, the prison system needs to be changed. Absolutely. It needs some sort of reform.
Great.
Because it costs us too much money. It costs us, we spend a lot of money on the prison system.
Great. So let's work on rehabilitation instead of carceral punishment. And let's go ahead and ban private prisons too.
I like some of that, but I think I'm a fan of corporal punishment for certain crimes. Like if, you kill a person or you rape a woman or something horrible, I think absolutely there needs to be a very harsh punishment for that.
Yeah, and you should be separated away from society.
Well, let's just say that's a good punishment, but let's just say someone, I don't know, rapes a woman. Instead of us holding them in prison for a life sentence, spending money on them to give them food, and I think, just take them and shoot them, because
I just don't believe in the death penalty.
A horrendous crime.
I got you. I just don't believe in the death penalty. So I would disagree there. There are very few things where I would say deserve the death penalty, deserve execution. I'm just uncomfortable with it. I think when it comes to the death penalty, there are very few things like child rape, something like that. Or raping babies, something like that. I would summarily execute people. But your example, raping women. Actually, raping women, I probably would agree with you there. Grape, that's something I'll probably agree that deserves the
raping.
That's probably something. Yeah,
because
there I would. I'll say
So,
but my issue with my issue with the death penalty, especially when it comes to grape, is that when it comes to black men, especially at a certain time in America's history, a woman could cry grape, especially if it was a white woman, and what would happen to that black man? He would get summarily executed, even if he was innocent, which is why it gives me pause. That's the main reason it gives me pause.
But let's take race out of this. Let's just take race out of this. In modern, let's just put it in like modern America, take race out of it. If someone rapes a woman, they've, traumatized her for life. It's a horrible thing. And
I would agree. I'm leaning more to your side of executing that person, right? But the only reason it gives me pause is
money.
Right, I got you. But the only reason it gives me pause is because of the history of this country. Yeah, I mean, the Central Park 5 was only 20 years ago. Yeah, I mean, so if we had your rule back then, those 5 boys would have been executed for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it gives me pause.
Yeah, which is horrible.
Right, that's why it gives me pause.
Yeah. That does give me pause, but I think if we look at it from a modern perspective, and we can't ignore the history, we have to acknowledge it. But if we just look at it from today's perspective, I think we need to get some sort of punishment. It needs to be harsh, but also it's like we're losing, life sentence we lose a lot of money on, because think about it. We have all these incarcerated people doing however long, like if someone, let's just say they get incarcerated for 80 years, they're like an adult. They're probably going to die before their sentence is up. So to save money, I think it'd be a lot easier to just shoot someone in the back of the head.
I mean, I'm not gonna do it just to save money. I'm doing it because their life is not it's not, you know, worth it anymore. Like I'm not gonna do it to just save money. You know what I'm saying? Like it's I don't know. Like I don't think that's, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna really argue with that. I just that doesn't seem like, don't feel like a good reason just for money. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there's gonna, if
But
we're gonna
I
do it to
mean,
save money, there's gonna send everybody to the meat grinder. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it just be for money.
yeah,
But when they, but if you disagree with slavery, then sure, we should reform our entire prison system, which neither party wants to do. Yeah, I mean, so like let's, like I don't think Republicans want to do
yeah.
it either. So it's they even vote for more laws to make more crimes in order to send more people to jail. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's more of a slavery thing. But as far as the subject goes, black people should not be Christian. You have anything more on that before I move on to the next caller?
Yes, I do. I think Black people can be Christian because I believe in choice for all people, and I think if a Black person truly decides to convert to Christianity, they should be allowed to do that, and I don't think they should be uh, shunned by members of their ethnic community because of that.
You can convert to anything you want. That's not really the question, right? It's just that if we the question isn't really can we, it's should we, because if you look at the history of what
What's
this,
wrong?
if we look at the history of what this religion has done to our people, and you still turn
It's
to
done a
it,
lot of
like
good
it
things.
sounds like a very, like you have a very short memory, especially for
But when you say
colonization,
our
for
people,
denigrating our spiritual heritage, like all of that. It seems that
right?
this is not something that we should be a part of. I don't think we should join the
But
religion
when
of
you
our
say
oppressors.
but when you say our people, you're making a generalization there.
Yes.
I don't believe in generalizing people, especially not Africans.
Okay.
I think like it's different for every ethnicity, every group. Some chose to convert to the higher faith.
I
You
know
know,
some chose to
Ethiopians.
convert. I know some chose to convert, right? Like the like the Ethiopians. What I'm saying is that the reason why the majority of Africa today is Christian is not because Ethiopians spread it. It's because it was spread through colonization, and we shouldn't be the religion of your colonizers. I don't believe that.
I absolutely agree, and I think colonization by the British was horrible. They did a lot of nasty things. Uh, they were just slaughtering people, and I think the British need some sort of they need to make an apology for that.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
And
All right, cool. Appreciate you.
I
All
also
right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Hey, Lee friend over on my TikTok. I appreciate you being there, Lee friend. If you need to leave, go ahead and let me know. But there were calls in front of you, so I'm gonna get you in a moment. All right. Kay, sit in the guest box for me for just a moment. I appreciate you. All right. We're gonna move on to 321, then 626, and then it's gonna be Lee friend, and then it's going to be 608. All right. We're going to try to get through all of this by 5 o'clock because I'm going out with wifey this afternoon. So we're going to go ahead and talk to 321 first. 321, how's it going? 321. Are you at least 18?
Yes,
And did you disagree with what I had on the board?
yes, I am 75. Okay, and we should remember first of all that Abraham was chosen by God to be a blessing to all people on the face of the earth. All right.
All right, hold on, brother.
Out of
I
Abraham
need to get your
came.
name. Hold on. I need to get your name first. What's your name?
I am Franz.
Franz. Your name
Franz.
is
I'm
Franz.
originally from the same country as you are. Okay.
All right, cool. So, Franz,
Okay.
I don't believe that black people should be Christian, Muslim, or Black Hebrew Israelite. What's the problem there?
Okay. The problem with that is number one, as I said, Abraham was to be an inspiration to all kinds of people and to believe in the uncreated creator.
Okay, I don't
Okay.
care. So I don't care.
Okay.
Abraham has nothing to do with
Hold
us.
on. I understand your right to say what you want, to believe what you want, but I want to say another thing. King Solomon and a lot of the people in the Old Testament
Franz.
were black people.
Franz. I'm gonna pause you there. Franz, what does any of this have to do with us? Like Solomon was not was not a black person. Neither was
Oh
David.
yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
They were ancient Israelites.
If you read and his
They were
book,
dark skinned,
right?
but they wasn't black
He
folks. I don't care
said,
about
"I
that.
am black, but I'm beautiful."
That's not what he said. What chapter and verse is that?
That's I think in the book in Ecclesiastes.
Isn't Ecclesiastes that he said I'm black and beautiful?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and go with that,
Solomon
right?
said
Let's go ahead and go with that, right? I don't believe you. Let's go ahead and say and say
Okay.
that he said that. Who cares? That doesn't mean that the religion is correct.
Well, just a second. Just a second. Not only he, but also the apostles of Jesus met with.
Franz. I do not care. Why should we be Christian?
Because
Even if all of these people were black, even if all those people were black, that doesn't mean that the thing is true. And even if all of them were black, that doesn't mean that Christianity, the way it will spread to black people, especially in Africa, was not oppressive. It will spread to us and through the sword, except for Ethiopia. But besides Ethiopia, it spread to us through colonization and enslavement. So I don't care if David and Solomon were black folks.
No.
Doesn't matter.
The Europeans received Christianity from Ethiopia and from Jerusalem.
No, they didn't.
Okay, so they did not start Christianity.
That's not what I said. Franz, stop. You need to track what
I am saying.
I know, but that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Track the conversation, bro. Don't just go off on something else. It does. I don't.
I'm not.
Wait, stop. You're going off on something else because you're not tracking what I'm saying. I say something and you change it to something completely something else. Respond to what I actually said. First of all, when it comes to white people, right? They didn't get the Christianity from Ethiopia. They got it from the Levant because Christianity started in Antioch, which is in Turkey, and then it spread to Greece. Paul was in Greece already. So that's how it spread over there. All right. And then it got to Ethiopia through another person. So yeah, they got it around the same time, but that doesn't matter. When you say that Christianity is not hold on. When you say that Christianity is not a white religion, the reason why I said it is because right now the entire control of Christianity has been in white hands, from the spirituality to the denominations, to the theology, to the finances, to the governance of it, to philosophies of Christianity. Let me finish, bro. Let me finish.
That is Roman.
Let me just finish,
religion.
Bro, be quiet for a second. If we just take a look at at who holds Christianity in their hands, it's all been controlled by white people for the past 2,000 to 3,000 years. It's not been in black hands.
Okay, no.
Hold on. Let me finish this. If Christianity was controlled by black people, it will look like Rastafarianism, or it will look like revivalism, like how we see in Jamaica. It will look like that, but it doesn't.
Christianity had an eastern section, and the western section was the part that Rome through the western part was controlled by Rome, but the eastern part was controlled.
We know that already. Why are we talking about this? We know that already. We're talking about this. We know that already.
Yeah, but
Franz, you need to track what I'm saying, bro. You need to really track what I'm saying, because every time I make a point, you go off on something else. Track what I'm saying.
Okay.
I understand that Christianity had a schism. It was split between East and West, et cetera, et cetera. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say Christianity is a white religion now, is because the entire control of Christianity has been in white hands for the past 2,000 to 3,000 years. The majority of people. Let me finish, bro. The majority. Let's just listen, bro. Just listen. Don't chime in yet. Just listen. The majority of denominations of black people on this side of the planet do not follow Ethiopian Orthodox. They follow Baptist or something else. And all that were white denominations. They are the Seventh-day Adventists, they're Baptists, they're Catholic, or they're Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses. Those are the big five that black people on this side of the planet are part of. Okay, those are all white. Those are all white denominations. Those did not come from Africa.
Okay,
you see what I'm saying? So even on this side of the planet, most black people follow white derived denominations. Even if they split from them, they're white derived denominations. So that's why I say that when it comes to theology, spirituality, governance, finance, all that has been controlled for the past 2,000 to 3,000 years by white people, which makes Christianity a white religion at this point in time. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, now listen to me. Let me see what I'm saying. No, not 2,000-3,000 years. Those denominations you talked about came about during the past 400 years. The past 2,000 years, okay?
All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and move on because I don't know what that was about. All right, y'all. So I see there are people who would like to come up. Give me a few minutes. All right. So Tachi, the one who's been crashing out all this time in my comments, you can go ahead and come on up whenever you can. All right, 626. I'm gonna get to you, in 856. I had a guest right before you over on my TikTok, so I'm gonna get to them right before I get to you. All right, 856. If you need to leave, go ahead and drop and call back whenever you can. So Minkins over on my TikTok.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get to you in a second. And 626. How's it going, 626? Are you at least 18? And did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Yeah, I'm over 18, and I disagree. I'm a staunch believer in Christianity.
Great.
Like
I don't believe that black people should be Christian because it's the religion of our oppressors, and it's unneeded as well. It's done nothing for I don't think it does much for us in the first place, but I know that it's completely unneeded as well. Why do you think we should be Christian?
Because it's not about the people as much as it is about God. He is the center. He everything. He's the impetus of all of us, every race. So it doesn't really.
Great. Can you show me that a God exists first?
I can show God exists just by the creation we live in, just by how long His word has endured. You know.
That's putting the cart before the horse. You need to actually show that a God exists first, and then you need to show that this is a creation. So you have to start with the first thing that you said. You just can't say God exists because God created things. That's a circular argument. You have to actually show that He exists first.
Yeah, I suspected something like that would be the point. It's something else I want to address too. A point you guys make a lot, right?
My friend, can you show that a God exists first? Let's go with that part first.
Okay, show that a God exists. Okay, so let's all look out the window and look at the sun. Okay, God,
Okay, I'm looking at the sun outside. Hold on, I'm looking at the sun outside my window. That's Apollo.
That's a what?
Apollo, the god, the sun. You see how ridiculous that sounds, right?
You could say Apollo, but the Abrahamic monotheistic God accounts are older than that. Though.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
If you're going by oral, not written, they are. Oral.
No, they're not.
By the oral histories of
no, they're not.
The Hebrews, the Semitic peoples.
The Greeks were worshiping Zeus and Apollo before Abraham.
Yeah, it didn't start with Greeks. The Abrahamic God didn't start with the Greeks.
That's not what I said.
They were.
That's not what I said. Hold on, listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Greeks, the ancient Greeks, were worshiping Zeus and Apollo before Abraham was born.
Yeah.
So their traditions are older than Abraham, my friend.
No, but
yes,
I'm saying Abrahamic because that's just another title. God existed way before Abraham.
Right. Can you prove that? Can you prove that the concept of Yahweh existed before the Greeks? Because what the data shows is that these were all popping up around the same time. And Yahweh was in a pantheon of everybody else. He wasn't the main God until later, until thousands of years later.
Yep. I'm not an anthropologist, but I'm pretty certain if we study carbon dating from the Middle East and and all the different
All right,
buildings and
Mesopotamia
civilizations.
is older than ancient Greece. We know that, right? These all kind of existed around
Okay.
the same time. Yes, but Yahweh was in a pantheon, and that pantheon was created around the same time. The Greeks created their pantheon. They all created around the same time, right?
Because every race started with the true God.
How do you know that? How do you prove that to be true?
They defected
How
for
do
different
you
reasons.
prove that to be true? And why is the God of the middle? Hold on. Listen. Hold on. Bro, be quiet for a second. All right. So my question is, when it comes to the pantheon that Yahweh was a part of, why is Yahweh the correct one and not the God of the Hindus, the God of the Japanese, the God of the Native Americans, the God of the West Africans? Why aren't those the right ones? Why is Yahweh the correct one? Because he was in a pantheon with everybody else. So what makes him right and all the others wrong?
God never gave us a name.
Wow, you just kept on talking while I was asking the question, didn't you?
Nah, I heard what you were saying about.
All right, so answer my question, please.
But that name, that's what we call him.
All right, I'm gonna need you to actually answer the question and not just react to what I'm saying. We have pantheons that existed around the world. Yahweh was simply part of the Mesopotamian pantheon. Why is he the right one and all the other ones are wrong?
The other ones.
All right, you're not even listening, bro. All right, so Minkus, how's it going, Minkus? Are you at least 18? And did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. How's it going?
Yes, I'm above 18, of course. Twice said that.
Right,
I totally agree with your topic. I'm from Israel, by the way. I'm an Israelite, what you call the Jew.
Okay.
Or whatever you want to call me. Yeah, pretty much I agree with that. I mean, especially for Islam and Christianity. Judaism, if you will, let's call it Judaism because I don't want to get into semantics. We're inclusive religion. So people can join the tribes, but there is a process to that.
Okay.
We don't enforce it. We don't tell people that they are going to hell if they don't believe in God or anything like that.
I got you. Don't. All right, so because I do got to go ahead and move on to another call-up since we agree. But I appreciate you being up. Drop me a follow, and I'm live every Thursday through Sunday. All right, appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Not a problem, Minkus. Appreciate you. All right, I do see the other guest in my TikTok guest box. I'm gonna get to you in a second. Let me just get to this caller. But I'm gonna get to you, Edison. Edison, I'll get to you in a second. Just go ahead and stay on mute since the caller is not gonna be able to hear you anyway. So go ahead and stay on mute. All right, Edison, I'm gonna get to you right after I get to this caller. And Edison will probably be my last person before I go out with wifey. All right, 856. I'm bringing you up on the stage. 856. 856. Are you over 8? Can I get your name, age, and did you disagree with what I have on the board?
Yes.
Your name is yes?
It's no, you're outside.
856. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and not waste our time on someone whose Wi-Fi needs prayer. So Edison, how's it going, Edison? Are you at least 18? And did you disagree with what I had on the board? Edison, you can unmute yourself now. Go ahead, Edison.
Yes, I'm above 18. We're above 18. Yes, I would say that, in my understanding, as someone who grew up in a Christian house, is I don't know, man. It depends where you grew up. But for me, I would say black people don't fit to be Muslims. That is my view.
You think black people should be Muslim?
If you have watched Afghan, no, not thing. They must not be Muslims. Black people, they don't fit because the whole Muslim thing is mostly designed for Arabs.
Right. No, I agree
the
with
whole
that.
thing.
Yeah,
Inclusive for Arabs.
I agree with that. Islam is Arab culture deified, and I think Christianity is basically Greco-Roman culture deified. So we shouldn't be either of those. You agree?
I would say Christianity has more value comparing to Muslims. Comparing to Muslim value, because all these Muslims, they will prefer to live in a Christian country. They will not prefer to live in a Muslim country.
Oh, it depends on which
That
Muslim
is
country you're talking about.
From Syria need the help. 5
It
minutes.
depends on which Muslim country you're talking about, really.
Okay. Let's talk about, as a Christian, can I go and open a Christian church in Saudi, or let me say in UAE?
In UAE, yes. In Saudi Arabia, I don't think so, because I think Saudi Arabia is a theocracy. So the state religion is Islam. So you're probably not gonna be able to do it in Saudi Arabia, but probably in the UAE.
Yeah, but why are these Muslims coming to all the Christian country, opening the mosque? We are allowed to do that. And
well,
let's
when it comes to,
I believe that.
Hold on, let me just answer your question. Let me just answer your question. The reason why Muslims move to those countries is because of basically for economic reasons, right? They could hold on. Let me just finish.
Yeah.
The reason why is for economic reasons. If you see where a lot of these, one economic reasons, and the other one is religious reasons, because Persians, the one from Iran, they move out a lot, right, too, right? But that's because Iran is basically a theocracy. It's run by the Ayatollah, and most Iranians, the younger Iranians, are not really religious like that, so they don't care. So that's why they move out. But when it comes to other people from around the world, if you see exactly where they're coming from places like Syria, like Yemen, places like that, right? Places that have less opportunity or are war torn. So of course they move out. You don't get a lot of people from Kuwait moving to Great Britain. You don't get a lot of people from the UAE moving to France. You don't get a lot of that. The reason why people from Algeria and stuff like that move to France is because of colonization. You see what I'm saying? The reason why a lot of Congolese move to France is because of colonization, or because of their countries are third world. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they move, for better opportunities. People are going to do what's going to be best for their lives. And it just so happens that the places that kind of speak the language that they speak are over in Europe. So that's why they move over there. If a lot of these places, like let's say China was the one that took over the world, and a lot of places speak Mandarin, you will see a lot of the immigration going to China. It's just history.
But
yeah, go ahead. What you were saying?
But if you check, nice, why are they not going to, let me say, Muslims, the guys who's like, why they don't go to the other Arab countries where they speak the same language like that? They look the same.
Because they may not speak the same language, or they may have a different sect of Islam, or they just don't want to be under a theocracy. Because the major Arab countries like Saudi Arabia is a theocracy. There are people who don't want to be under that. So
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Hello.
I know. I think the network is cutting there, but I was saying,
right. So the reason why a lot of these Muslims move to European countries is basically historical reasons. Now, number one, a lot of them just speak the language, and number two, a lot of Arab or a lot of Muslim countries are theocracies, and they don't want to be under theocracies. And number three, they have better economic opportunities to go to one of those places. So that's why they go.
Can I say something about that?
But I want to say, let me be honest here. Oh, you live in America.
Yeah.
You live in America.
Yeah.
If I'm correct. But you get me. I live in the south of Africa. Where mostly dominated by Christians. South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, those are Christian countries.
Okay.
You get me. But the thing is, we don't want Muslims becomes a third minority, because we know if they become that population is going to give us problems, because you look at other countries when they become more than 30%.
Why do you think they're going to give you
big
problems?
They
Hold
start
on.
blowing
That's
their
what you're trying.
stuff.
All right, you said in countries when they become more than 30%, they give those countries
I think it's
problems.
because of their book.
Hold on. You said in
Yeah.
countries when they become more than
Yeah,
30%, they give those countries problems. Hello, Edison. Do we need to pray for your Wi-Fi?
Hello.
Yeah. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to
You
understand your
said
claim.
something last.
Hold on. I'm trying to understand your claim. You said that when Muslim people become 30% of a country, they create problems for that country. How do you determine that? How do you know that?
You, I'm gonna do this. You must study one of the ministers in India. He said this to a journalist. He said, if a population of Muslims become more than 40%, it's gonna give problems to India. You get me? The Indian population guy, the prime minister, one of the ministers there said something like that. That means these people, they know, they live amongst each other. Why to Jordan King have fought the Palestinians? You know, because these people, they know each other, and we think that because of democracy, I love Trump. Because of democracy, we want to play democracy way and try to act good. These people, they don't like you. They don't. They
All
don't
right, but
believe
Edison,
you. But
here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Muhammad is
Edison, hold on, stop. Here's the problem.
yeah.
The issue is that when you actually study that claim, you actually take a look at it, you see that the problems these countries have nothing to do with Muslims. It has to do with discrimination. A good example of this is what you brought up, India. In India, the Muslims weren't causing the issue. Hold on, let me finish. In India, the Muslims weren't causing the issue. It was just discrimination against them. It was just poverty. Poverty and scarcity always causes issues. And when it causes issues, politicians like to blame a certain group of people. In this case, in India, it was the Muslims. In Myanmar, again, it was the Muslims. Because in Myanmar, hold on, Edison. In Myanmar, the Rohingya Muslims weren't doing anything. But because Myanmar was going through an economic problem, they automatically blamed the Muslims. But it wasn't because of the Muslims for their economic issues. It was because of the junta. When you look at France, in France, they're blaming the Muslims over there too. But the Muslims are not the issue in France. France has issues because Africa cut them off, and because of that, their currency is devaluing, and they can't keep up with the pensions that they're paying. Those are the issues in France. It's not because of the Muslims. When you actually look, hold on, listen. When you actually look at Edison, you need to actually address what I said. When you look into the claims that Muslims are going to cause problems with these countries, and you go to these countries and see where these problems originated from, it's not because of the Muslims. And I'm not saying this to defend Islam. I think Islam is a ridiculous, disgusting religion, right? I don't think Islam is a good religion either. But you can't say a country's issues is caused by Islam when you have issues in the country such as austerity, such as poverty, such as mass layoffs, mass discrimination against a certain group of people. When you have those issues, how are you going to say, oh, it's the Muslims? The Muslims cause the layoffs? That's stupid.
Yeah, I want to say this. You live in America.
No. Edison, stop. Edison, stop. Address what I said. When you look into these countries and the issues that they have, hold on, stop. When you look into these countries and the issues that they have, it wasn't the Muslims that caused the problem. It was things like poverty, things like layoffs, things like hold on. Things like poverty, things like layoffs, things like economic issues, right? The Muslims didn't cause the economic issues. The Muslims didn't cause France to cut their pensions. They didn't cause that. So how is hold on, Edison. I'm not gonna let you ask me anything. I need you to address this question. If Muslims were the problem in these countries, how come when you look at these countries, their problems are caused by something else and not the Muslims? How do you explain that? Obviously, the claim would not be true at that point, correct?
Can I answer? Can I answer?
You better answer that question and not something else.
I will say this. You want to tell me because their salary is being cut, they have to run through a Christmas market and kill innocent kids? And
All
shout the
right.
name
We're gonna go ahead and move on since he
Arba.
does like to answer questions. All right. So I am Wayson. Hold on, yeah. I gotta go ahead and actually, I think someone was in the queue already. Wayson, give me a second, all right? Because someone was in the queue. I'm gonna talk to this person first, all right? All right, 856. How's it going, 856? Are you at least 18? And can I have your name? And did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Kenneth Curry.
All right, Kenneth. How's it going, Kenneth? Did you disagree with what I had on the board?
I got no.
You gotta turn off the background. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and close off the call line. Call line is going to be closed right now. All right, y'all. Call line is closed. We're gonna go ahead and move on to Wayson. I'm going to add up K. I think I saw K in the box. We'll add K in the box. And Pharaoh, we'll see if we have enough time to get to you. All right, Pharaoh. How's it going, K? All right, Wayson, how's it?
Yeah.
How's it going, K? All right, Wayson, how's it going? Wayson, are you at least 18? And did you have a religious indoctrination? Wayson, you can unmute.
Yeah.
Right. So, are you at least 18? And did you have do you have a religious indoctrination?
I'm above 18, yeah.
And do you have religious indoctrination?
What do you mean?
Do you have a religious indoctrination?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What is it?
Islam.
You live in America.
Hold on. It's Islam. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't believe black people should be should be Muslim.
For me, it's a bit fascinating because I was listening to the last person who was talking, who was saying black people are not supposed to be Muslim. But to think about it, black people never had a religion. They were actually worshipping their gods back then. Christianity did came, and Islam did came. So
right. So
I think
we
for
should.
Me, it's like
right. So we should keep those traditions.
We can say we should keep those traditions, but then religion, it's about choice.
No, I agree with you. It's no, I agree with you, right? Like you can all choose what you want to be. That's all good and well. But my issue with Islam and Christianity is that it forces you to erase and many times even denigrate your spiritual traditions or your spiritual heritage, as a matter of fact. So that's my main issue.
Yeah.
And not only that, they use it to enslave us. Like the Arabs didn't come to Africa generously. They enslaved us. So why are we following the religion of our enslavers?
Okay, like for slaving, I think it was done like mostly throughout the history. Even ourselves as Africans, we were trading each other for money and power back then. So it
no doubt, but it wasn't the same, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't the same. But then I don't think we can blame the whole religion thing upon trade, slave trade. I don't think it can be fair to do that.
What to blame the slave trade on? I'm not blaming the slave trade on Islam itself. I'm saying that the reason why many of us became Muslim,
like in general.
I got you. But listen,
because even Christian came with trade.
I got you. My point is that the reason why most of us became Christian and Muslim is because of slave trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's just part of it.
Yeah, so we shouldn't follow the religion of our enslaved. Go ahead, Kay. I'm sorry.
First of all, it is the main reason. The Arab and the European slave trade are the reasons. That is literally why. So I don't know why there's pushback to that. That's historical fact.
Right. So why do you think black people should be Muslim on White Sun? Because we already had our own thing before that, and Islam is just Arabic culture deified. Why should we deify a foreign culture?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like if we go about African traditions, it's fair to say we should keep our traditions. But then religious things is about choice. A person can choose to be Muslim or Christian.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. You
Well,
can
the
choose that.
conversation isn't about choice and whether you can. The conversation is about should. So can we stay on topic?
Yeah, it should. I'm asking why should we? Because you can do it. No, not you can do it. It's more around the should. I'll even ask why would you want to be? I don't want to be the religion of my enslaver. But besides that can of worms,
speaking about
why
facts,
should?
that means Africa should stick to their forefathers' religions.
Yes.
That's the fact about it.
Yes.
But if you're talking about choice, that means everybody can have choice. But then if you're looking at the topic, to be fair with Africans, we have to stick to our forefathers' religions.
I'm like, Wasam, did you read the topic?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, does it say can or should?
I've answered the question. The host knows that I've answered the question. I don't know why you're asking me that.
All right, but
because
you're not answering the question.
You haven't answered the question. Number one. Number two.
I just say that we, as black people, we should stick to our forefathers' religions.
So those are.
I did say that.
So you understand that it's not Christianity and Islam.
What?
So you do understand that's not Christianity and Islam, correct?
Yeah.
All right, great. Appreciate you, Son. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Kay, how you been doing?
Oh, I'm snowed in.
Oh, you snowed in. Damn.
Yeah, I'm like, it snowed a lot here in Philly last night. So it's all snow on the ground. So I'm in the house under my blanket.
Bad. All right, yeah, it's I think we down here in Florida, like I think the cold broke because we were cold for a while, but that coldness broke.
Y'all don't know nothing about no cold.
We don't know nothing about y'all cold. Nah. We don't know nothing about y'all cold at all.
Now y'all know about heat.
Yeah, definitely know about heat.
When I lived in Texas, honey, it was like a heat wave every single day. Because here, like summers, get the highest they get to 90, and anything above that is a heat wave. Like it was like 120 degrees every day when I lived down south from like June. When I got there in June, all the way through like September, November actually. It was like, oh my God.
That
it
heat.
took a minute for that heat to break.
Yeah, no. All right.
I'm like, I told my grandma, I said Master would have had to beat me, honey. Absolutely not. I'm like, they made me even more enraged that my ancestors were enslaved down south because my family is from Tennessee. I'm like, no.
No, man. Like we had to go through this heat, and like every time I go back to Haiti, the first thing I do is every time I go back to Haiti, the first thing I do is go to the well because that well is like ice water. Yeah, I mean that well is like ice water. So I love going to the well and just filling a bucket and just pouring it on myself in the middle of the afternoon because when I say be hot, boy, you'll be surprised how hot those mountains can get, man.
Oh my God! It was ratchetly high. I said it was I was still a Christian at the time. I told my grandma, I feel like Satan. This heat is demonic. It is of the devil, and I do not approve. Okay, like no, ma'am, no.
Oh, bad. All right. Let me just do one thing real quick. All right. So everybody who's over on the deconstruction
by the way,
junction,
Kenny, Christianity hasn't been Africa before Europeans. That has been debunked on several locations.
Yeah. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So if you're over on the deconstruction junction, the call-in line is now closed. So I'm not going to be arguing with you on the comments. If you are over here on Volcy Thoughts, I appreciate y'all being on Volcy Thoughts. The call-in line is also closed. So you guys can catch me next Thursday. I appreciate y'all being here. And we're going to go ahead and move on to I think your name was sorry, I didn't get your name. Pharaoh.
You can just call me Pharaoh.
There we go. All right, Pharaoh. Are you at least 18 and do you have some sort of religious indoctrination?
I'm 28 years old, and I'm kind of confused because was born Christian, but I'm moving away from the church. This is more so, yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah,
So,
not a problem. So this is more so a what? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'm more so in the conversation of like I believe that everybody has a right to choose religion, and I know you stated that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe that we should believe in more secular thinking when it comes to our like politics and stuff like that. Like when it comes to our politics, our social economic norms, I think it shouldn't be governed by like religion. But I still believe in like everybody should have the right to choose their own religion.
No, I agree with that. No, I believe in freedom of religion. Everybody should have a right to choose what they want to believe in, everything like that. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Now I will say this: I'm on the opposite. I'm actually anti-theist, to be honest. But
yeah.
But the reality is, on the country, you do have the right to choose. But I'm against theism.
And like it's more so like the glorification of a religion, right? Especially in the Black community, right? It's just like if we're glorifying religion to a sense that is affecting our daily life and is governing and is like our morals and values, and we only hold it into the Bible, right? Off the basis of religion that has been enslaved us, right? We're not really deconstruct, and when it comes to our thinking about our social economic norms. So I agree. I agree with you, like on most of the topics, and I'm just kind of confused. I'm kind of like deconstructing myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. We can all go through deconstruction and help with it. Like what phase are you within your deconstruction?
So as of right now, I'm in my political phase right now, especially moving towards the left leaning Marxism and like more so Afro pessimism as well.
Same.
And then I'm sort of looking in more so into that, especially looking more into like Frank B. Wilson, Francis Fanon. I'm more so reading more about that and starting with my political phase. Then I'm probably gonna move towards like my social economic norms around me as well.
Have you read Wretched Earth?
Yes, that's actually what I'm reading again right now. I'm rereading that so I can get a better
Wretched Earth and what's the other one that I was reading? I think it's called White Faces, Black Skin. I'm reading that as well. Yeah, I'm actually reading it over, and I'm reading over Black Jacobins because it's been a few years since I read Black Jacobins, so I got to read that again. And after that, I got to pick up The Man Not by Thomas Curry and Will to Change, Bell Hooks. I got to pick up those two because I know Thomas Curry has a lot of criticisms of Bell Hooks, but I don't really understand them all, so I got to read her again and then read his criticism to see what was the issue. But yeah, those are what I'm reading. But yeah, that's good to read those. I would also suggest reading some Bart Ehrman. Definitely some Dan McClellan. He has a book out right now. For the Bible Says So. He has that book, and he goes through that a lot of like apologist arguments are actually not in the Bible, which is really good.
Oh, you know what? Thank you for the book suggestion because I'm gonna buy it right now. Actually, especially when the one about religion.
Yeah. Dan McClellan is really good. He's also here on TikTok. He does a lot of good content on it. A lot of good how like he's a Mormon himself, but he even points out a lot of things that apologists say. A lot of their arguments are actually not in the Bible at all, or they're misunderstanding the Bible. Yeah, I mean, like he's even pointed out that how Adam and Eve actually didn't actually historically exist, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So it's pretty good. I'm gonna read some Franz too. But definitely,
I appreciate the conversation because like I'm still in the middle of my deconstruction process, but I really do appreciate the conversation.
Not a problem, Pharaoh. All right,
No problem.
Talk to you soon. All right.
At least you're in the process.
Yeah, he's in the process.
I mean, it's more than most Black people can say, to be honest.
Yeah, for real. All right, Johnny, I invited you up. I don't know why you dropped down, but Black, how's it going, Black? I know you're a friendly of mine. How's it going, bro?
Yeah, hi, good day. I hope you recognize the accent, right? You know the accent.
Yeah, Trinidad.
You recognize the accent?
Yeah, I recognize the accent.
Right,
you my peoples from the West Indies.
Well, I this construct a long time because hence the reason why I look through his people, right? Through what happened on the Christian side, Islamic side. I just can't wrap my head around this. Why as black people they don't look at this as a historic standpoint and yes, been they did wrong to us and for the Islamic side, it's still going on today. If you recognize, it's still going on today. And a lot of people just denying it. And I don't know what's going on with black people. Like they don't wrap their head around the situation because it's very depressed, right? As a, I would call myself an atheist, right? Because there's a reason why I cling to atheism. Well, we forefathers been taken out of Africa, so I don't have a religious belief per se to cling on.
What happened? What happened? I think it dropped him. He was having some connection issues, but I think it dropped him, y'all. Yeah, I think it dropped him, and oh, yeah, K dropped too. Yeah, both of y'all dropped. Hey, I'm sorry for that. Both of y'all dropped, but I'm about to get out of here anyway. Socrates, how's it going, Socrates? If you, I'm about to get out of here, Socrates. So, probably Thursday. All right, drop me a follow. Yeah, Black. It's been glitching all day. It's been glitching all day. Sorry about that. It's been glitching all day. You and K, both of y'all dropped out for some reason, but it's been glitching all day for some reason. I won't be able to tell you why. And I do just want to go ahead and read a super chat from the boy Resist. Resist, I appreciate you. He says, support a black business with me. W for supporting black businesses. Hey man, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that, though, Black. I do appreciate that. Resist. All right. So I only believe in an almighty creator. Cool. Go ahead and call in next time. And 1998 Tez says and talk to my community. Okay. Whatever. Okay. So 1998. Go ahead and call me back next time. All right. Kay, I'm about to get out of here. All right. So definitely come back next time because I gotta start doing panels and I gotta start promoting the B.A.A.S.H cookout. Yeah, the connection broke. TikTok been glitchy all day today. It's been glitchy, but I'm about to go ahead and get out of here. All right, guys. But I do appreciate everybody being here. Resist over on my Black Atheist. I said Black Atheist. Resist over on my personal YouTube. I appreciate the super chat. If you're watching me from Deconstruction Junction, I appreciate that too. I did close the call-in line. So if you guys did call in, you won't be able to call in anymore because I closed it like 20 minutes ago. And over on the Black Atheist Coalition, I appreciate y'all there as well. But we are going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Tez, 1989 Tez, call me next week, all right? Like I do these every Thursday through Sunday. I'm gonna have more topics up on Sunday. This is my topic for Sundays, that black people shouldn't be Christian, Muslim, or Black Hebrew Israelite. So go ahead and call in next week, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Sorry for the long outro. It's about to be 5 o'clock. Listen, y'all, I appreciate all the views. I appreciate all the gifts. Y'all wonderful. So once again, when I'm signing off, I always say the same thing. Every man should be soft. That means secure, affectionate, wise, flexible, and trustworthy. So always be soft. All right. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a good night. Peace out. All right.